I got ChatGPT to tell me the best time to buy and sell XRP, and I'm going to teach you exactly how you can do it, not just for XRP, I'm going to give you the answers it gave me as well, but you can do it for any token that you want. So this has all come about because I saw an article by Matt Eskridge about essentially how ChatGPT-4 predicted the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. And how it did this was essentially going back into history where you can go in and copy and paste all that rich data and put it into ChatGPT and ask for patterns for where they see risk, and also start to get into the timing of when these banks might be collapsing. And the crazy thing is that ChatGPT-4 accurately predicted the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. So all the details of how that happened and the prompts that he used will all be in a link in the description, but I'm going to take you through how I've done it and adapted it a little bit for XRP. So mission number one was to get the historical data for XRP. And all you do for this is you go over to nasdaq.com, and at the top you search for your symbol. And in this case, I just put XRP. And once you're there, you basically have every open, every high, every low, every close of every day that XRP has been traded. And actually this goes back all the way to 2019. But then I was thinking, 2019 is not far enough back to actually have any good data to be able to use. So I went into ChatGPT itself and asked it this question. And because ChatGPT is only pulling from the internet all the way up to September 2021, I knew I was going to have to manually enter the prices for any time after September 2021 to today's date. And that's what I was using the NASDAQ information for. So the exact prompt that I put in was, can you list the monthly close price for XRP from 2014 to 2021? And of course, it came back with the whole price history every year, every month, all the way up to 2021, and I added the rest. And so a feature that people don't understand you can use with ChatGPT is that you can ask it to generate tables. And the table I asked it to generate was essentially the price at the close of every month from 2014 to where we are today. And it's interesting because now we've got nice data here, it's nice and clean and we can read it, but it's not really of any use at this point. Like, you can look at it and see that the price in April 2021, it went up to $1.38 at the close, and then it went down a little bit. It's just kind of difficult. So further questions were required to ask because we want to draw out some patterns here. We want to know when the best time to buy and the best time to sell is for XRP. The problem is this didn't go as smoothly as I thought it would, right? I've just realized I had these in the whole time and I didn't need to, so they're coming out. I thought this would be easier, but it's not. Okay, so this is one of the prompts I asked it, giving it that information from that large table. I said, are there any objective conclusions or patterns that you can deduce from the information below? For example, January tends to be higher than the month before. And then I pasted in the table and the information that was in the table, and it couldn't really do the answer. It wasn't really working.
Compute says nah.
So I had to shift, I had to pivot, and I had to really ask myself, what am I actually even looking for here? Because ChatGPT will probably give me the answer, but I've got to ask it the right questions. And so I asked it a very simple question, and that question was, which month is typically the worst month? We hear this all the time in crypto, sell in May, stay away. And I was thinking, well, it'd be interesting if that was actually a phrase or something we say based in actual fact, in objective fact, with numbers and data. And it turns out that May actually isn't the worst month. It's close, but it's not the worst month. And this is what it said. July has typically been the worst month for XRP with an average closing price of 26 cents. And I thought, that's not the answer I'm looking for. I'm not looking at the price because we know the price over time has gone up, right? Since the beginning, it's gone up until now. So I'm not looking for an average price, but what am I looking for? I'm looking for an average percentage move within a specific month. And so I adapted my question. I said, which month typically performs best in terms of a percentage increase from the month previous? And this is where we started to get some really good information. And remember, this is based on all of the monthly closes from 2014 all the way up to March 2023. So typically in January, we see an 11% growth, February a 12%, March a 12, almost 13% growth. April, we see a 13.76% growth. May, just a 5% growth from the month previous. June starts to get into -6, July -6, and then we start to recover back again for December being almost 13% growth on the month previous. And it gave a little blurb at the end here, which is going to be really interesting because when we look at what we need to do for XRP and where we need to position ourselves based on historical data, we should be paying attention to stuff like this, right? I mean, we can't take everything that ChatGPT says as gospel, but it's interesting how it interprets just numbers, right? And so April, it says, has typically been the best performing month for XRP with an average percentage increase of 13.76% compared to the previous month. So then I asked it, just for simplicity's sake, to organize this data from 1 to 12 in a ranking system to tell me the months that XRP performs best and the months that XRP performs worst. And we'll see it all nicely from best to worst. April is the best month of them all. March comes in at second, so we've actually had 2 of the best months in crypto based on historical data, based on the numbers. December, then February, then September, then January, then November, then August. Wait, where are we heading into right now? Because I've got 4 things to read out here, and 3 of those 4 months are the next 3 months of the year, right? We're in April right now. So what about May? What about June? What about July? May, July, and June are number 10, 11, and 12. So we're in a pickle here because we have all of this excitement and hope right now, right? We think, okay, the court case could end in May, it could June or July, it could end at this point. But history shows that the price doesn't move upwards in these times. In fact, it moves down. And so how I take this information is I really want to look at the strategies we might be able to use, knowing this information, kind of excluding all of the news and all of the anything that can happen in the geopolitical world. That's a big word. And so I wanted to kind of take some strategy out here and just kind of, while I'm not listening to ChatGPT like verbatim, I'm kind of paying attention to this just to set expectations based on historical data. And it might be valuable for you to do the same. So I thought, okay, I want to kind of backdate a strategy here based on the percentage increase and decrease and using that into our favor. So the next prompt that I asked was, historically, if somebody invested $1,000 in June each year and sold in April each year, what would their portfolio be like? So buying when the percentages are down and selling when the percentages are top, right? It makes complete sense. And it did the whole calculation based on buying in June, selling in April. And it turns out that you would essentially 9x your money. If you just bought $1,000 worth, every time you bought, you only bought 1,000. In the end, you would have had 9 opportunities to buy in June, meaning your investment would have been $9,000 in total. And you can see on the screen here, the total value of what you were selling when it came to April. So you started with 1,000 and you ended up with $19,321 with a $9,000 investment. And for me, that's not really like crazy gains or anything. Of course, we're hoping for so much more, but I think it shows that simply zooming out and looking at, okay, I'm gonna have 1 buy and 1 sell over the course of the whole year, and I'm just gonna repeat that. These numbers would be quite different if you bought your $1,000, sold it in April, and used all of that to buy again in June the next year. If you rinse and repeated that, the number would be significantly higher. So then I thought, okay, what about like a DCA strategy? People might be more comfortable with a DCA strategy. So I said this, would it make any difference if somebody invested $1,000 spread across the worst 3 months and sold across the best 3 months, essentially extending that time period where you can be buying and selling, meaning we've now got 3 buys and 3 sells in a year. And interestingly, you would have made less money that way, which is kind of counter to what we think when we dollar cost average in over a period of time. Usually it would make more sense to have more success that way, but apparently not. And it said it right here. Comparing this to the previous scenario of investing 1,000 each June each year and selling in April, the portfolio would be worth approximately $19,321. In this comparison, it appears that investing in June and selling in April generates a higher return than spreading investments across the worst 3 months and selling in the best 3 months. Then I asked it for its own strategy. I know I was trying to generate strategies here, but I wanted to know what ChatGPT's strategy would be based on all of this historical data. And here's what it said. It said moving averages crossover strategy. Now, we might have to just YouTube that or Google that if you don't know what that is, but essentially it explains it right here. In this strategy, we'll be using 2 moving averages, a short-term moving average at 20 days and a long-term moving average, which is over 50 days. When the short-term moving average crosses above the long-term moving average, it could be a potential buying opportunity. Conversely, the opposite happens, right? And so it's actually given a strategy to buy and sell XRP based on the actual numbers, the actual data. So if you're looking for an actual trading strategy just to test it out, you can backdate this strategy on different platforms. I think TradingView you can even backtest There will be other opportunities to backtest these things, but you could put that in and look at where you would be buying and selling and look to see if that's actually a success. Because historically speaking, objectively speaking, just using the numbers, that's what ChatGPT suggests is the best strategy for trading XRP. So what does that mean for us now? Well, for me, as someone who doesn't really sell XRP, it means nothing, but for someone who likes to take profits in other tokens, like my XLM and my XDC, the end of April, it seems, is the prime opportunity to be taking profits, based on what ChatGPT is saying, not what I'm saying. ChatGPT is suggesting that based on the numbers of historical data, and the best time to be buying is in a couple of months, probably at the end of July, leading into June. And so this might be something that I would consider. I might consider taking some profits in my XDC and my XLM and just rebuying down at the end of June. Now, of course, this isn't me telling you what to do. This isn't ChatGPT telling you what to do. It's just kind of from a zoomed out perspective, seeing what it's got to say. Ultimately, you've got to make your own decisions, but it's interesting nonetheless. So if this is your first time here and you're watching this video for the first time, there is a video below me that is suggested to you by the algorithm. The algorithm believes that that video is perfect for you as a viewer. And before you go over there, click the subscribe button, stay emotionless in this market, and I'll see you in the next one.